Hey, what's good everybody? It's Lance again, and today I'm coming at you with another movie review. Today I'm going to review Antoine Fuqua's sequel to the first film that came out in 2014, The Equalizer, starring Denzel Washington. In this film, we get to see Denzel Washington tackle or reprise his role from the previous installment back in 2014 of Robert McCall, a former CIA operative who was trained in the deadly arts. You know, he's just a badass guy. Like, the guy can just, I don't know, like every time he seems to get into a fight with a person, he barely comes out of it with a scratch, and that's no different from this movie. In the first movie, you had him go up against, I guess, a bunch of women traffickers, right? But the thing is that, you know, this film tackles a different story. You get to see a little bit more of his, I guess you can say, character development. You understand more about his relationship with, like, Melissa Leo, who's only in here for like a little bit. If you've seen the trailer, you know why. And yeah, you understand exactly a little bit more of what he's up to doing. He's now a Lyft driver. He drives around people for a living. While he's retired, he still does odd jobs here and there, but he's mostly just staying grounded to what he's doing now. And yeah, he just kind of comes into a situation where he has to avenge his friend who was murdered, and he has to find out who are the culprits involved. And there's this whole thing, some predictable stuff happens, and yada yada yada, this and that. This movie is fine. Like, I feel like this movie is one of those action films that you probably will not remember at all like a couple months from now, but that, you know, it has Denzel Washington and the action is okay. It's not the best. There's a lot of action scenes in this movie. I think a couple more action scenes in the first one. And they kind of are directed the same. I mean, Antoine Fuqua, I guess when it comes to action, like, you know, there's a lot of cuts here and there. You know, maybe it's to make up for like lazy choreography or whatever like that, but you understand exactly what is happening. It's not like Colombiana or Taken 2 and 3 where you can literally not see what's happening, right? But here you can actually understand exactly how Denzel is like killing these guys or beating them to a pulp. And yeah, you don't really have too many questions about that. However, in comparison to some other action films that came out like in the last few years, it doesn't really do anything new or original, and it just kind of like is almost a little bit stale, if that makes any sense. I mean, sure, the presence of Denzel is great and all, because who doesn't like Denzel Washington, right? He's one of the most prominent actors ever, and you know, the fact that he's first now doing a sequel in his like 30-year career, that's like insane, right? And it had to be for The Equalizer out of all the films he's done. I mean, someone made the point where he dies on a lot of his movies, so that probably is why he didn't die in The Equalizer, so he came back. But anyway, yeah, this movie is okay. I don't think there's anything to write home about. I had some problems with the pacing early on. I didn't necessarily think that we got to the, I guess you can say, conflict as quickly as we could have. There's some like dragging early on, because like you kind of see him like doing odd jobs and people here and there trying to help people out, and then like he encounters some other characters, and then one character who's played by the kid from Moonlight, which is cool. I think that aspect was good and all, but like someone else said, I believe, it makes a lot of detours, and the conflict, the main plot is kind of subsided a little bit. Like, it's just not as prominent in certain scenes than it is in others, because he's always just trying to help out different people. And yeah, there isn't like a real memorable scene in this film in terms of action as well. Like I said before, you know, there's just generic action here, and it's just not that appealing, I guess you'd say. It's nothing along the lines of John Wick or even Atomic Blonde or something else, in which you actually get to see exactly everything was happening and not just some of it. But it's not terrible, like I said before. But yeah, and then, like, you know, it gets pretty predictable. You understand who the villain is, you know, and when it happens, it's just like, okay, whatever. There are some scenes where you kind of laugh at certain things that Robert McCall does, and I think that's pretty cool. But overall, like, this guy is just like the superhero that just like, it's a Lyft driver by day, badass crime fighter by night, and you see that in the first one, and you see that here. If I had to give this movie a rating, I'd just give it just okay. You know, if you have the time or the money, maybe go watch it in a matinee screening, or if you have Movie Pass, you know, if you feel like watching an action film, this might be a little bit of suffice for you. But overall, I don't really see any justification out of going your way to see this movie. Alright, so that's it for today's review. I'm going to do a review for Blind Spotting, hopefully by tonight or tomorrow. That should be pretty fun. Can't wait to see it. And then I'm also going to do something for Mamma Mia too. Here we go again. But anyway, you guys have a good one. Please like this video if you like what you saw. Also leave a comment. Tell me if you like the movie and if you plan to see it. We can have a discussion. And yeah, subscribe for more videos. That's it. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Peace.